Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today. This is another chapter of real estate talk, and please share and like. Feel free to ask any questions today too. We're going to try to answer everything on our best of our abilities. Plus, we have an expert on foreclosures and short sales today. The idea with these lives is actually to help you, get some different perspectives of different professionals in the Chicagoland area, just to kind of give you an idea what we're doing, what they are doing in their business in the last few weeks, and what are they planning to do to stay on top of their business in the next few months with this COVID-19 crisis. So today we're talking about foreclosures and short sales and what is coming, right? Is it coming another way? What are we going to expect with this crisis, and what are we going to see coming based on the experience that we had from before? We're gonna try to see what is coming. So today, like I said, we were talking with foreclosures and short sales and how to stay on top of your business during this crisis, and what's next. So today we're gonna have an attorney and a Chicago entrepreneur, Theresa Panzica. So let me have her put on. Give me one sec. You ready, Theresa? Here, and we start. Hello. Hey, Theresa, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, great, great. It's been a while that I've seen some of my friends. Everybody's in lockdown or being not being able to get out of the house for a little bit, right? So this is actually been a great tool for me to kind of see some of the familiar faces out there and some of the people that we always work with. So thank you so much first for joining me today. I really appreciate taking a little bit of your time to do this with me today. And first of all, how is your family? How's everyone? How's you been doing? How's your dad?
Everyone's good. I think we're kind of very active in business and just in life in
Right,
general. So this is definitely difficult for us because we can't really do what we like to do, which is to
right,
work a lot and to have fun a lot.
right,
So hopefully, we've been trying to just take advantage of like trails and nature and nice neighborhoods to get some sort of fresh air that's a
right,
part
right.
of neighborhood walks. And then luckily, I started ramping up for doing foreclosures in the fall of 2019. So that has been
Okay,
building itself up. So at least like that's going well. Unfortunately, a lot of people that went under contract in March, pre like stay at home order, a lot of them ended
right.
up canceling. So that it was
Well,
not
or
probably one of the worst Aprils that I've seen since like the crash, right?
right, since the crash, right? Absolutely. But we have a lot to say about that too. So, but it's great to hear that your family is good and everybody's good. So,
I'm a full-time
one piece,
teacher now.
huh,
I said I'm a full-time teacher,
mom?
grade school, what grades? Kindergarten and second grade teacher.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, I have a fourth grader and now a second grader. So yeah, we're learning a lot too.
Part-time real estate professional.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So, but what do you miss the most? I mean, well, you said some of the stuff. I mean, but what do you miss the most during this quarantine? I mean, like working a lot, like you
Well,
said.
we're
So,
still
but
working. I mean, the thing is that like I used to have a lot of in-person events, and I can't have them
right,
any longer. So like
absolutely,
that is something that I miss. I've been taking advantage of like webinars and Zooms.
right.
Luckily,
Mm-hmm.
I started those prior to this crisis. So I
Mm-hmm.
like already kind of had like a system in place.
Right.
So it's, at least like I have something to get ready for this,
Right.
something exciting, something to look forward to. Cause I really do like, meeting new people, talking to people, educating them on, how foreclosures and short sales or, just different social media tips like can
Right.
help business or different business tips, things like that. Like it just is spreading the good news, I guess, because
Right.
at some points in my career, I didn't know like all like the little tricks and secrets. So for people that are new to the business, at least they could take advantage of the webinars, the in-person ones, I think. And I did some with you, Christian, too.
Right.
I
Yeah,
think
no, absolutely.
better because it's just you could talk more and
Mm-hmm.
socialize, network, whatever. But
Absolutely. Yeah. The network part of it is great. Yeah. So you get to know people closer, right? People in your area. Absolutely. So, but at the same time, I mean, I'm sure you get, I mean, are you being getting a little bit more attention in some of your webinars? Because obviously people now have a little bit more time in their hands. So obviously they have more time to probably do some webinars and things like that, right?
actually, we had a really good turnout prior to
Okay.
coronavirus because I mean, this, but
Yeah.
the market has been trending down since summer of 2018.
Right. Right.
So last year, I was not expecting short sales to dry up like they did, but they did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People just weren't working on them. The market started getting good, 16, 17, 18, and people more and more and more were like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. I just want to do regular business. I just want to do regular business. But the problem is that regular business takes you on a roller coaster ride every year.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not, last year was the first year that I didn't have that diversified income where I had buyers, sellers, and short sales. Like my short sales were just non-existent. So what ended up happening is you're hot for 6 months and you're not for 6 months, which still happened when I had a mix, but I never went down as far as I did without short sales. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes.
With short sales, you would always be like propped up, to making a really good living just on the short sales alone.
Well, and I think that I don't know if you agree with that, but I mean, I think that the banks had a lot to do with that because they were holding back. They were still saying that they had a lot of inventory in their hands and they didn't let it go. So mainly just to keep the prices going up in the regular market. But at the same time, I agree that everybody was getting really the market was feeling very normal per se, in which everybody was working, everybody was going great. So obviously, yeah, uh, uh, it was expected that there wasn't going to be as much as short sales as there was before. But obviously,
the numbers like year after year,
yeah.
like 18, 19, 20, like we were like spring 18 was hot. That was a hot spring.
Mm-hmm.
19 was down, significantly down.
Yes.
And before Corona happened, we were significantly down again. So I remember how it happened last time. I wasn't, I didn't have like my own shop yet when the last crash happened, but I, like you did. So you saw how it happened. It was,
Yes.
2006 was, no, actually, I'm sorry. I did have my own shop. Sorry. I forget when I started. 2006 was good. And then 07 was half as good. And then 08, there was a crash. So it's the same thing, right? Like 2018 was good. 19 half is good. And now down again. We were down. We were trending down prior to Corona.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the Chicago Association of Realtors were actually expecting, a slowdown. They've been talking about it for the last 2 years. It's just that it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It kind of slowed down in 2017. I saw some of my flips started to slow down the sales because there were a lot of properties on the market in 2017. I'm sorry, 2018. And then, yeah, I mean, I started, some of my properties started taking longer to sell at the end of 2018 and the beginning of 2019. And some of them, I mean, took longer than 6 months to sell. on the luxury side.
Like
Yeah.
that was just, I mean, even I think even 2017, 2018. I mean, I
Hmm.
think it even was before then for like that for flips. I think
Right.
I think
Right.
it started sooner for that, but just, regular real estate professionals, like I was doubling every year, like from
Hmm.
15 to 16, 16 to 17, 17 to 18. And then last year, what happened is our short sales dried up. Our growth was the same from 18. Like we didn't really have any growth. Like we just did the same.
Right.
And then
Right.
this year, hopefully the short sales will come up. Luckily, I've been building them up since the fall. So if you start now doing, pursuing homeowners that are in foreclosure, you're unfortunately not going to start seeing profits for 6 months.
Right.
Like even I started getting an influx in fall, like we're still, in May, like just at the point where we're going to start seeing.
Well, plus the other thing is that, with the help that they provide today, well, not today, but in the last few days, few weeks, that now they're allowing people to, skip a few payments. That is going to delay some of the foreclosures too, because people are going to be able to take advantage of that. And obviously, we don't know how long the banks are going to allow to do that. But for sure, obviously, the wave is going to come after that, because obviously right now there's a lot of people that have lost their jobs, but the banks are allowing them not to make payments. Some of the credit cards are allowing you not to defer payments, and everybody else is, a lot of the companies out there are allowing people to defer payments. So once these things stop, the deferral of those payments stop, and some of those people are not able to come back to work, that's where, the wave is going to come. So it's going to be a little bit of a delay, like in 2008, right? In 2008, the market crashed, but the wave of foreclosures didn't came up actually until a year later sometime. And then even that, the first year was like very chaotic. Nobody knew where to go, what to do, and how to get started. Even the banks, right? The banks took them a year to kind of get their stuff together
Yes.
and to have enough people.
Spring 2009 is when they figured it out.
Right, right. So
We're just called, like in 2008, we were just calling them, and it was like there was this bank called ASC, ACS. What I'm talking about?
yeah.
They were approving them. I think SPS maybe, and then everybody else was.
And you got to be ready because everything is going to get delayed, right? Right now, how long was it taking you to process some of the short sales in the last few years?
So I would say probably 17 was the last year that they were going quickly, because I think there was less of them and the banks still had their staff. 18, we started noticing delays, and I think it was because the short sale banks were cutting their staff.
Right.
And
right,
last year was I mean, and even now it still is. It's more trending towards like what it was 10 years ago, where it took like at least 3 or 4 months, whereas like in 17 we were getting them approved in 6 weeks.
Right. Right. Well, the thing is that one of the things that agents and investors out there, they got to have in mind, for those that didn't go through the 2008 crash, is that one, the amount of people that right now are unemployed and the amount of people that are not going to be able to go back to work, that is going to come as a shock to the bank system once those people don't start making payments after the deferral. If they don't start making that first payment, that second payment, that's where everything is going to start. And hopefully the banks are going to be more prepared this time, and they're not going to take as long, because back in the last crash, obviously took us, sometimes it will take us a year to close one short sale. So it was very
getting that way now. Like if you have a first and second loan and the realtor priced the property wrong, like meaning that like a lot of clients are close, right? Like they might have equity, they might not, but the market's not definitely hot anymore. So they try to list it for a price that like is like a pipe dream that ends up creating delays on the short sale process. So for people that haven't done short sales before, it's really important that like you tell the people when they say like, well, let me just try to see if I can get some money back. That's going to delay the short sale. That's going to make that short sale more along the year mark. Whereas, you know, people that are a little bit more experienced know to price it a little bit under fair market value, not because, you know, we're trying to manipulate pricing or anything like that. But when you list it for higher, it's very hard to get the bank to go lower. And it listed at fair market value, it's very hard for the bank to not to go above. They always just ask for more.
Absolutely.
So you're tempering the bank by going in lower. And the bank believes you with the listing price. So if you do it for too high, then those are going to be the short sales where we spend a year going back and forth on trying to disprove your original list price. So it's not always like just the bank. Like there's a lot, like even like the homeowners are culpable because if they insist on listing it for this like fantasy price, it hurts them in the long run.
Yeah, and you know, obviously,
if they want it done quick anyways.
Right. Realtors have to understand. I think that, I mean, I don't know. I think that prices are going to go down anyways, right? No matter what happens, how soon or how not we're going back to, people are going back to work, prices are going to go down too because people are not going to buy. The demand is not going to be as high as it was in the beginning of the year. So it will definitely go down. So, and that happens also in 2008, right? Prices, I even sold a couple of my investment properties in the middle of the crash, okay? And those properties, I remember, they still appraised correctly and everything at the value that they were at that time. And, you know, just 2 years later, those same properties were sold for, you know, 10% of that same value. So the prices are going to take some time to go down, and as it did on back in the day. So I mean, but anyway, we'll talk about that a little bit more too on Friday. I actually have Frank Montreux coming on Friday. That we're going to talk a little bit about that too, just to see what his opinion on the pricing on the market. But I think it's going to happen, right?
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, I just the reason why I bring it up is, like I said, if you've never done this before, you really have to be conscious of the pricing because otherwise your short sale is going to take forever. So, and the longer it takes, like every time you have to do that price dispute, the clients have to send in like a package of all their financials. And it gets really frustrating for the homeowner to have to do that. And if the realtor would just have priced it below fair market value, we wouldn't have to go as long or, you know, fight as hard. So,
and one thing that I would say to realtors today, I would say to take advantage of your services, mainly because that's what I did back in the day. I had no idea what to do with short sales or how to help people. And a lot of people wasted their, you know, I wouldn't say wasted their time, but a lot of people took a long time to learn about how to, you know, help people during the short sale crisis. When I actually went straight up to your dad's office and he took care of him for me. You know what I mean? And I was, you know, just concentrated on doing more and bringing more people to it. And you know, your dad and your office will take care of it, you know, for me. So which is, you know, they're a lot of work.
There's a lot of people that they are a lot of work, but the good news is that, you know, the banks let realtors charge 3.5%. Our fees are a little bit higher. So in the long run, it's worth it because if they take a couple times to go, like that's fine. It just in the long run, you get compensated for the additional work. But realtors can definitely, like you said, like put that off of their plate so that they can help more homeowners. Like prior to this current crisis, there was still a lot of people in foreclosure, but there was, I work with this company that lists all the people that are in foreclosure. Prior to Corona, there was like somewhere between 50 and 60,000 people in foreclosure in the 7 counties. And if you search for who was listed for short sale, I think right now it's a little bit more, but like now we're in the crisis. So maybe there's more urgency or people are switching to it. Pre-crisis, there was only 427 people listed for short sale. You cannot tell me that all 50 to 60,000 of those people were not underwater, right? Like,
Absolutely.
we have the highest rate of people underwater. New York and California combined don't have many people underwater as we do.
Right.
Have as many people in foreclosure as we do. So our industry basically ignored them. I'm guilty of it too. I kind of when the regular market started coming up, I was like, you know what? Short sales are going to dry up. Regular business is so much better. And then I learned that it wasn't. But it's good to help everybody. It's not something that you have to do by yourself. They, like you said, like they can lean on us for support. And in the meantime, like homeowners get to avoid foreclosure. They get to avoid the banks coming after them personally for with a judgment to garnish their wages, to freeze their bank accounts, to overdraw their bank accounts, forcing people into bankruptcy. Like you don't have to get in that bad of a position.
Right.
Sell it. Most of the time we get a nice little letter from the bank saying that they're not going to go after you. Most people avoid income tax liabilities after the closing. And yes, your credit does get affected. And unfortunately now, all like the cool programs that were out there to help people buy again immediately after short sale, I think unfortunately have stopped.
They're gone. Yeah, they're gone.
Crisis. But listen, rentals are very popular right now. So there are very nice rentals, even single family homes that people can rent right now that in my opinion probably didn't exist and as nice of a quality as it did in the last crash, right? So it's not that bad.
There are a lot more options definitely now compared to 2008. Obviously now some of us have more experience of that what we went through last time. So there's definitely more tools that we're going to have for homeowners to even keep their properties. Even just to give you an idea with even Airbnbs. Airbnb actually they came out. That company was formed after 2008 and 2009, and the idea of the owners were to help people in foreclosure to pay for their mortgage by renting some of their rooms. So that's how the idea of Airbnb came out. So and they're getting ready again to start helping people once they're able to get back on track with that. So there's going to be a lot of other things that is going to help people, sometimes keep their property. So definitely, I think realtors have to concentrate in talking with their past clients and even do small seminars with you to educate people about what their options are and what they can do instead of just freaking out and just
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think the stat is very high. Like 85% of all people in foreclosure end up losing their house via foreclosure auction sale where the bank buys it back.
Yeah, and you know what?
Not doing anything. So there are ways to keep your house, but maybe some people want to get out. Maybe they're sick of their house, and if you lost your job because of this crisis and you were underwater and you felt like you were stuck in your house and you were like, well, I'm employed, I don't really have a hardship, now is the time to unload things if you have a hardship that's related to that. Because if you lost your job or if your business is down or your business had to close, now all of a sudden that house that you couldn't sell that you wanted to get unload, now you can do it, right? So if you've had job loss, job transfer, more than 250 miles, illness. So, if you have the virus itself, divorce, or I'm blanking out on this. Sorry. I'll think of it in a second. Job loss, job transfer, illness, divorce. Oh, death of a co-borrower.
Right.
If you've had any sort of extreme hardship that was caused by this crisis and you had this property that you were like, I'm never going to be able to sell it. I don't like it. I don't have an excuse. I don't have a hardship. If you've had a hardship, like it actually may help you unload this. So some people don't always want to stay. If you want to stay, you're not underwater. Of course, they can try loan modifications. I think loan modifications or refinances are probably a lot better options than forbearance because the forbearance options, Most of them give you a certain time frame to pay it back. So in my opinion, it's really easy to get out there and, use Airbnb and use all these, network marketing online to try to make a little bit of money to pay your mortgage. Instacart, whatever, whatever things that are out there for you to make money, you could do for 1 month, but it's hard to come back from 3 months, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And have the discipline not to spend that money. I heard that FHA is offering ones where they are in fact deferring it on the back of the loan, and they're increasing the amortization. So instead of your loan payments being spread out over 30 years, they'll increase it to 40. But if people take that and the prices drop, it's going to create more people underwater, especially new buyers, because they only put 3 or 5% down. In the beginning, if you're paying your mortgage, you're only paying interest mostly, right? So spreading things out, that means that your principal is going to take longer to go down. So like you said, a lot of these workout options are going to end up kind of blowing up in your face. So if you want to sell now, to your point, you could probably still sell now and get a good price.
Right. And a lot of, I think that a lot of the issues back in the last crisis too was that a lot of people also lost their homes, or they didn't do much, or they took too long to do a short sale. First of all, because they didn't know, their options. They didn't know how everything worked. They didn't know that, the different type of hardships that they can have, and that can help them short sell their properties. And mainly because there were also, people have that assumption also that, well, attorneys are very expensive, and they're not, I can't go and talk to one because it's going to charge me this much and that much. And I think that that's a great opportunity right now to for some of those realtors that work with you to do small seminars where you can obviously help them out, or even do webinars, you know what I mean, in which you can provide them some of that information, so they can see how they can get started with the process and not be scared of it. Because, at the end of the day, sometimes people get scared when they talk to the bank, and the other side of the phone is just a regular guy. He's not the owner of the bank that is on the other side of the phone. So they don't need to be afraid of talking to the bank, and they don't need to be afraid of talking to an attorney for their options. So definitely. So and what other things are you working with your agents to help them stay now on top of the things, on top of their business?
So it's hard to help people that don't want. I think, probably the biggest lesson that I've learned after doing this for the last 10 years is I've had countless in-person classes, countless, now Zoom things. Like I'm doing as many as 4 a week. I think the biggest problem that I see is that people overcomplicate this that are in the industry. Realtors are realtors and need to go in with blinders. Like, if you know other stuff, great. But the fact that you and I know the pricing is going to go down, or, what happens with the loan and all this other stuff is just due to like experience, right? But it's not necessarily our true like role in the transaction. So knowing that doesn't mean that you can or cannot stop that. So I see a lot of people that, one, think it's too much work, 2, just get overwhelmed and are like, I don't really know what to say or what to do. What if they start asking me questions? I had a gentleman jump in this year. I'm available to help people with overcome any objection that they get. That's kind of my role in the law firm, to help people get new business. So within like 2 months, like he stopped asking me the questions because it's like the same thing over and over again. So once you heard it, it's fine. But a lot of the things that people ask you are going to be borderline things that you're not really supposed to go over. Like, you're not supposed to go over like tax. Like even I don't, right? Like tax, I sat down, I tell them, go talk to your accountant. Like you're probably going to be okay, but you have to talk to your accountant because they need to know how to get you out of it, because I'm not going to prepare your tax returns. Credit, like, what do you want to do? What's your plan? You know what I'm saying? So it's like a homeowner is generally not going to ask you technical questions. So I think even in the, homeowners are scared what's going to happen, but I think even the real estate professionals are scared. They think that it's a heavy, topic. And I'm not saying that it's not, but it's not as hard as people make it out to be. So I'm just trying to get people comfortable with it, but unfortunately, like, not everybody's willing to do it. But it's really as simple as asking people if they want to keep or if they want to sell. So I'm trying to simplify the message now. I'm trying not to talk too much in details. And when people ask me like, well, what about this? Or what if there's a sale date? Or what if there's 5 mortgages? Or what if there's judgments and blah, blah, blah. I'm just trying to, like, with tunnel vision, tell them, like, that's all noise. Like, don't worry about sale dates, because let me tell you something. Right now, there are no sale dates.
Yeah, there is nothing going
on. So you don't have to worry about it. And this is a good practice run, because guess what? You normally never have to worry about sale dates anyways. If their sale date, let's say the crisis is over. If your sale date is tomorrow, okay, someone like you who's experienced, Christian, could probably still do it, right? If you're not, you maybe have to, stay away from people that have a sale date in like a week or so.
Right.
Once you get accustomed to it, you'll know what to do. You have to get, you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to have a group of investors in your pocket so that when you get people that are at the end, that you can just, submit an offer. Granted, it's going to be lower, but it will buy time to stop the sale date. And then give us, maybe that person is going to cancel because they don't like the inspection report, or the bank will automatically cancel it. But it just gives you an opportunity to buy time. The good news is that you don't have to worry about time anymore. So I think just the best advice, I'm just trying to simplify it more with them and not get into too much. And it's funny is because then I don't get into too much and they ask me those questions about like the technical things. But I think the technical things hold people back.
Right. Well, and it's still gonna happen, obviously, because obviously people ask realtors and their agents and their listing agents, they're gonna keep asking for questions, and obviously they don't want to be calling you every time they have a question. So it might be a good idea for you to record some of those answers already and in some videos, and so you can put it out for people. You know what I mean?
But I really feel that like people get stuck on that though. Like they hear it and it becomes too technical, and then they're like, I don't want to do it. It's too much. You know what I'm saying? So it's really not the realtor's role to go over all that stuff with clients.
No.
It's really not.
But at the same time, it's usually, it's the face. You know what I mean? So obviously they're the ones in contact with their clients, and yeah, the clients, relied a lot on them, but they should definitely, just delegate that.
But you want to hear though, like the gentleman that just started and he jumped in, he never got the same questions from the people twice.
Right.
One person asks about credit. One person asks, where am I going to go? One person asks, like, nobody's going to ask you like this checklist that like, you and I could simplify it into. The general consumer is not going to do that. Like I don't know. I think it just is as simple as keep or sell. So I'm trying to streamline it. I definitely should do videos on the other things. I probably will do one now when we get off, because why not? But
right.
The thing is that like, it's just don't overwhelm yourself, I think is the best thing. Like, just, what to do. How to sell people's houses. I just gave a tip on, how to list it in terms of price. So that's really the only thing that's a little bit different. And then also dropping the price every single week too, until you get somebody.
And now with social media, obviously, things are going to be, you have a bigger audience. You can get out to people faster. I mean, realtors, right? So realtors, they're going to have to get out there a little bit more, and don't be afraid of, shooting some videos and putting those properties out there more. And definitely social media is going to help them sell some of those properties faster than before. So
yeah, I mean, like I have an investors group. I'm sure you have investors group on Facebook. So people that want to invest in real estate want to know about short sales, because short sales are the best deal that you can get right now, especially if you need financing, right?
We just got out of we'll say a boom of real estate investors, right? The last 10 years was a boom for real estate investors. There were a lot of people flipping properties, a lot of people buying rentals and different strategies. So there's definitely a lot of people out there that are ready to start buying. So right now, obviously, they're kind of holding back a little bit just to see what's going to happen this year. So this year should be fairly slow, but then it's going to start picking up back again because once everything kind of falls into place and the system starts working with short sales and everything else, then everything is going to start working again the same way. So
Yeah.
definitely.
What I think it's gonna come back in the spring. Like a lot of people are
Mhm.
saying, like, oh, the summer's gonna be busier, the fall.
No, yeah, no. Don't expect to go back to normal right away. So it definitely is going to take some time.
Right.
The
It's up
prices,
the spring.
yeah, and the prices too. I mean, the prices, just going back to the last crisis in 2008, the prices of the properties didn't touch bottom until 2011. So took a few years. Obviously, hopefully, this is not going to take that long.
Right.
I don't think it's going to take that long either. But we don't know what is going to be the wave that is coming after this, right? What is the damage that this crisis is making now that we don't see that it's going to come later, right? So those are some of the things that we have to expect that there's going to be more problems after we go back to work.
I mean, I think
And
there was already problems to begin with, though. I mean,
yes, absolutely, yeah,
the how much it costs just to live is more expensive. How much to people are consuming more food. Like their food has is it as much as restaurant? I don't know, but I feel like I'm
yeah,
forever ordering food that I normally didn't have to. Productivity of parents is definitely going to be down because let's face it, like we take advantage of school.
yeah,
So I think there's stuff that was like already going on, like no one was really making a lot of money. The market was healthy, the economy was healthy, yes, but typically people do not, especially in real estate, like the market has to either be really good or really bad to make a good, to make a good living. So when you have just like normal markets, like last year was a pretty normal market, right?
right. And but at this,
Foreclosures, and then you're kind of just like, right? Like it's not
yeah,
as a real estate professional. Um, if people, I don't know. I think our business is always very volatile. Like stock market, like it's up, you're down, you're this,
yeah,
you're that. But I just think in general it was already coming. Like whatever
yes,
happen now, definitely put a magnifying glass on like the existing problems. The fact that no one, people like my age I was talking to, like they don't have money for down payment for their family home because
mhm.
they're not as busy at work, they didn't get raises at work, so it spills over. It's been spilling over to every single type of industry that's out
Yeah, I mean, I think that last year prices touched their peak, and some areas were starting to come down. So I personally had an investment property that there was still on the market until a few weeks ago that I took it off. But because obviously, even though the prices weren't really, nobody was kind of lowering the prices in the area, but at the same time people were offering 50 grand less than what we had it on the market, and they were like, oh, I think that your price is too high. But if you see the other people selling in the area, nobody has reduced their prices at that time. Now I can see some of them going down.
there. Right.
So there's definitely going to happen. But at the same time, even though it's not all cloudy and gloomy, right? So the thing is that, of course, it's gonna. We haven't seen the worst of it yet, so I think it's gonna come more stuff later. But at the same time, the government is putting so much money into the market that it's gonna create another bubble after. Uh, I'm 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 sure that that's gonna happen for sure. So I think that realtors have got to be ready. Try to stay on it. Last time we saw
We have
in
to
the
start now though, because it takes
yes,
time to
yeah,
get, like, if you're going to build this division within your company, it's going to take 6 months for you to start seeing anything.
yeah. Last crisis took half 50% of the realtors went out of business.
Right.
Okay, so and the only ones that were able to stay are the ones that they took the bulls by the horns, and they were able to keep going with their marketing and keep going after the clients that they had before. Because now you have to go back to the same clients that you sold properties and see if they need help,
Right.
and that's where you start. You know what I mean? So of course you're going to get new businesses too, but at the same time you start with the ones that you already sold before and getting in touch with them and just see if they need any help, right? So and of course it's going to take a lot of agents out of the business too. So it's going to shrink probably again, but it's good for the ones that stay. So
Right.
there's going to be more business for them. So
Look, you can stay in if you just build, like, honestly, like, you have to build up the short sale division, because you have to target people that need to sell. No one wants to sell right now. Like, there's this crisis going on. Do you really think people want to go into different houses? Like, they just want to stay safe and secure. They don't want to sell their house because they don't want people coming in. I mean, I think the being scared is passing a little bit as time goes on, but still, like, just no one's going to want to deal with that. So the only people, the best people to target, and this is always the same at any time, at any market, is people that need to move. So whether it's, people that are in condos that were cramped and have kids and need to buy a house, whether it's people in foreclosure, people that have certain life events that trigger things to happen are always good, but especially now it's extra important because not everybody is nobody's gonna want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I see a lot of people that want to buy like their forever home, and they're all telling me like, well, the prices are gonna go down, so they want to keep waiting. So even those people aren't necessarily good. So that's why foreclosures is really good. Now, some people that are in foreclosure are gonna say like, well, the courts are closed, I don't want to do anything because nothing's gonna happen. At some point they're gonna open. They are giving court dates and foreclosure sale dates for June.
yes,
If it could get postponed again, sure. Everybody that was in the end stages though of foreclosure was in foreclosure for nothing to do with Corona, right? It was completely unrelated things. They are getting a gift by getting an extension of time with this crisis, but it's going to run out at some point. I don't think it's going to be, what we saw 12 years ago where people were in foreclosure for 3, 4, 5 years. Like, it's nothing going to be like that. The minute that the courts open, they're going to assign dates and it's going to be game over. So you have kind of like a life vest that was sent to you right now for all those people that were in foreclosure so that they can do something, so that they could take, their property, put it on the market, sell it, let us get something that says that they don't have anything to owe to the bank, as opposed to letting it foreclose. If you foreclose, your problems are just beginning then at that point.
Right. The good thing is that also the courts are gonna take longer too, just because obviously they're not gonna just get back in your case right away. Okay, they have a mountain now of things that they gotta deal. As soon as courts open their doors again, they're gonna have a boatload of work that they gotta get through. So I mean,
March. Yeah. So it's a lot for them to wade through, and then the big fallacy though that I think that people don't understand is that now people that are missing payments now, they believe that they won't go into foreclosure at all, which is not true. If you are not making your payments, you can still file a lawsuit against a homeowner that is not making their payments to start the foreclosure process. It's going to take longer because the courts are closed, so your first initial hearing is going to keep getting delayed until whenever they decide to open it, but you're still going to go in. So that's like, I think, the people that are in, their biggest problem is that they can't rely on this crisis, but the new people, it's the same thing. They also can't rely on this crisis. Like they have a plan, whether it's they're going to try to keep their house through loan mod, or they're going to file Chapter 13 to restructure their payment and try to stay in the home, or if they're going to use this as an opportunity to unload their properties. You have to make a plan. You can't just not do anything. And I think people that are in foreclosure just don't do anything because you get overwhelmed. So the good news, like you said, Christian, is that like there are realtors do not charge anything up front. We don't charge anything up front. So you can have resources in the real estate community that can help people and put you on the right path, whether you want to sell or not. You know, there's really great housing counselors that are out there that will tell people, listen, you're in your house and you lost your job, your interest rate's at 2%, you don't qualify for anything. Like they're straight up with people. They'll tell them, like, there's nothing more that I can do for you. I can't put you at -5 interest rate to help you keep up with, you know, what your payment needs to be. But they will also tell the people that, you know, hey, you're at a 4% and you are still employed, and you know your spouse is taking on more responsibility for the kids, so they can't work as much, so your income's down. You are a good candidate, right? So the biggest mistake that I think I see people make when they're in foreclosure is that they immediately run to a foreclosure defense attorney or a bankruptcy attorney.
Right.
And those people don't really solve the problem long term, because foreclosure
just delay it.
Just delay it. And honestly, right, I mean, I don't think anyone's doing it now, but when the courts open, they may go after that option because it's already getting delayed now. But if they wanted that help, it just delays the process until you foreclose, and bankruptcy will get rid of your obligation to the bank. So that's good, but they don't help your credit repair, because until that house forecloses, your credit is still taking a nosedive.
No, and obviously it will take longer for you to be able to buy a property again if you go through bankruptcy, right? So obviously the faster you're able to sell it, the faster you're going to be able to buy a house later on once you get back together in your working again. But the thing is that the other thing is that with realtors, I mean, obviously, definitely, there is a lot of other options. Realtors, one of the problems that I saw with realtors back in the day too, was that obviously, and they have to expect this, that, you know, closings were taking longer, right, to close. Deals were taking longer to close, and that's going to happen again probably. So a lot of them jump into trying to help people, and they were charging people up front. So watch out, don't get into that stuff for money. So definitely there is a lot of other things nowadays that, you know, that you can make money with, that you don't need to be charging people for, you know, just for telling them what to do. So just be careful with that, right? And definitely you utilize the resources, utilize, you know, your firm obviously to help them instead of trying to you know, do it yourself.
Yeah, the government actually, when realtors were charging like that, or like lenders were charging for that, there's regulations against that now. So.
Yeah, I had a few friends that lost their license because of that. So I mean, I know that there was a lot of that stuff happening before, and I'm sure that some of them are gonna get back on it, and they're gonna jump on that stuff too. But so yeah.
Tried to beat the system when that happened. They would their workaround is they would get an attorney on staff.
Yeah, there's no
up front, but that's not. I mean, I think it's like, if it looks like a pig, if you put lipstick on it, is it any different? I don't know.
Right, absolutely. No, definitely. I mean, don't get into that. And this is mainly for the new realtors, right? The new realtors, they didn't go through what we went through back in 2008. So for sure, there's going to be people out there that are going to be looking for help, and obviously, when you're not closing deals, that tends to give you the wrong idea that you can charge people for it. But you know, that's a bad idea. So definitely. And plus now there is a lot of, you know, get in touch with real estate investors. There's a lot of it out there. They're a lot easier to find now through Facebook and everything else. Facebook groups, your group, right? That they're going to be buying property. So I mean, that's a way out for for you to find some buyers out there that are going to be buying some of these properties for sure. So,
Yes,
okay.
it's definitely good to be in it now, because the first time this happened, we didn't have all this, right? Like it was very,
No,
I mean,
it was kind of built over time.
not like this.
Right. No, it was built over time. So it took a few years for all the investors to come out. At the same time, I started investing back in 2010. So in 2010, we didn't have hard money lenders like there is now. Now there is an abundance of hard money lenders, even though some of them closed already. But there's still a lot of them out there. It's for real estate investors. So and there is other options that we utilize. We had to kind of get creative back then to start getting financing, because the regular financing is out of the plate now, right? There's only a few lenders right now that they're doing non-QMs. So we'll see if we can bring Joe, the mortgage guy, to tell us a little bit more about that too, and the different loan options out there. But the thing is that for investors, there's still options out there. I help a lot of investors right now also into raise funds to do some of their deals. And what I've seen now, that a lot of those hard money lenders started tightening their LTVs, their policies, and obviously they want more money for the same deal. So even for the cheaper deals, I mean, they're gonna have to be get used to again putting 20% down and putting more skin on the game on those properties. So they definitely gonna need more money. But back then too, it happened the same thing. It took a little while until people actually started using their own cash. And it was amazing to see back in the day how many people had cash they didn't want to use it, and then they end up using it to start buying real estate. So they're going to come out for sure. So just take advantage of that for sure. That's a good way for realtors now, new realtors, to get in touch with buyers for these properties.
Yeah.
All right, Teresa. Um, it's been almost an hour that we've been talking, so it's great. I mean, it's always entertaining. Definitely, you're a wealth of knowledge in short sales. So I definitely uh, tell anyone to suggest anyone to contact you to help them with short sales. I'm gonna put your information, your social media information on a slide. I'm gonna get off a little bit so you can tell them how to get in touch with you, and that way we can see how they can you can help them with the new web of short sales, okay, and all the other stuff that you do for realtors as well. Okay, thank you very much again. Thank you for taking the time, and we gotta do these more often. Okay, so we'll do it again. Okay, thank you
But
so
we can
much.
show them some of the sources to find these people.
Absolutely. So here's your information. Feel free to let him know how. Okay, so if you'd like to get in touch with Teresa, feel free to contact her through Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram, or Twitter. So here, both of her website, panzicalawoffice.com or teresapanzica.com. Definitely check her out. She's gonna be able to help you. She's someone that you want to have in your team to go through these crisis right now. There's definitely going to be a lot of work for agents and real estate investors as well. I mean, real estate investors, when you are getting in touch with sellers, people that are in trouble. When you're marketing for these properties, you're gonna find people that are in foreclosure, and obviously you're gonna need an attorney that is gonna be next to you, being able to do this for you, to take care of this process for you. Um, I also wanted to give you a little bit of word about our sponsors. This broadcast was sponsored by National Corporate Credit. National Corporate Credit, and getunsecuredcredit.com. They help real estate investors raise funds for their deals. And these are the guys that I use when I started doing real estate investing in real estate back in 2010. They raised a great deal of money for me, and I was able to get started. So definitely check them out, call them, and see what are the options with these crises. They're still lending, they're still going strong. They can get you up to $250,000 in unsecured loans. So definitely give them a call. Their phone number is 847-220-7247, or just go to getunsecuredcredit.com and set up an appointment there to talk to them. Okay, so definitely take advantage of that. And this is it. So thank you again for joining us. And I'm gonna have another one on Friday at 11 a.m. again, and I'm gonna have Frank Montre. Frank Montre is a monster in real estate. He was nominated, he won actually an award for one of the top producers in the Chicagoland area as a real estate agent, real estate broker, and he's also an investor. So so we're gonna be able to discuss with him the different things that there's going on now in the market. And again, I'm sorry for realtors. This is just to give you a different perspective of what's going on out there and what is happening on the market, what is going to happen um, in the next few months, and how you can take advantage of this market, how you can actually stay ahead of the game and be able um, to stay on top of your business. Okay, so again, I'll see you again on Friday at 11 a.m. on Real Estate Talk. Thank you very much. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, here's my information.